Hello, I'm Todd Lewis from Fiasco Sports, reporting for the SA Football magazine. Today I'm joined by Brian Leys from the Glenunga Football Club in Division 5, and he's our feature coach of the week. So Brian, you obviously have a pretty good background in AFL. Tell us a little bit about that experience.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I guess I grew up in country Victoria, got the chance to go to Hawthorn as a very young boy to go through their junior programs, and then ended up playing in their under-19s, and then lucky enough to be transferred to Richmond back at the pre-season of 1988. And yeah, growing up as a Richmond supporter, it was fantastic for me to play 100 games at the Tigers. It wasn't an era of great success, but no, it was something that I really enjoyed, and I look back on now, and yeah, I think you always, once you look back, you're very grateful of what you've had in the past, and that was something that, yeah, the Tigers, I really enjoyed it, and still my boys now are sort of starting to become Tiger supporters, so they'll probably feel a bit of pain this year, mate, but it's something that I look back on now fondly, and especially now that I've got three boys, it's nice to be able to tell them, whether they care or not, I don't know, but it's still nice to be able to tell them, mate.
Yeah, so what are some of the experience you've taken from playing AFL? It's obviously a different level of learning. What do you take out of that and drive on to your boys at Glenunga?
Oh, I think the biggest thing is it doesn't matter what I've learned, it's how I teach it. And if I can't teach it, and if I can't create that environment of learning, and then I'm no good as a coach. So the biggest thing I'm trying to do is take everything that I've learnt over the years and make sure that I can pass it on in the right way. Make sure that I'm explaining things properly. Make sure that they understand why we're doing this and not just let's go and do this. It's why we're doing it. So having a purpose behind what I'm doing is really important, because sometimes I probably do get caught up in thinking, why don't they know that, or why don't they understand that, or why can't they see that out on the footy field? And I've also got to make sure that I'm really careful to that. But as I said, the biggest thing I'm trying to create is a learning environment to get boys in to understand football and how it all works, because you don't just go out and people say you've got to have a winning culture, and yeah, you do, but you don't just have a winning culture like that. You've got to create the environment to become a team that wins and create that winning culture. So at the moment, it's just focused on teaching blokes how to play footy.
Yeah, and what are some of the things that drove you to become a coach?
Oh, I think I love footy. Like all of us, you love footy and you want to give something back. And I think the enjoyment of seeing blokes when you can't do, like, it's a player's game. As one of my great coaches at Port Adelaide, Stephen Williams, always said, it's a player's game, and it is. But the enjoyment you get out of coaching and the satisfaction you get out of seeing boys learn footy and understand footy and play well, and I think it's a fantastic learning environment, because not only do you have to learn about footy, but you also have to learn about the values of what it is to be part of a team, and I think that's really big. So yeah, my whole goal for coaching is teaching, certainly winning, but yeah, teaching blokes how to play footy. I get a lot of satisfaction out of it, mate.
Yeah, what are some of your expectations for this season as a coach? Obviously, you've talked a little bit about trying to drive a new game style. What are your more literal expectations of where you want to finish?
Oh, listen, realistically, I think finishing middle of the road for us would be great. Like I said, I think the club's been on a downward spiral for the last 2 years, and I think that's showing in our first three games. Yeah, once you have that, I guess you have that losing culture, or sometimes you don't know how to win, and I think that's where the boys sit at the moment. Sometimes they don't know how to win games of football. So yeah, we're trying to set up a program that helps them win games of footy, but yeah, you can have all these plans, and as all coaches will say, you have all these plans and you put them out there, you think they're going to work, but if they don't implement those plans out in the field, then really it comes back to making it simpler or breaking it down a little bit more. But I want them to understand that football's about intensity. You've got to have intensity to play footy, number one. And if you don't have that, well, I reckon you struggle. Like, you can have skill, you can be fit, but if you don't have intensity around the footy, which is something that we probably don't at the moment now, understanding it's an A5 team, and a young A5 team, but until we get that intensity of work rate, intensity of getting the football when it's your turn, that's when the guys will start getting better once they know that. But we're playing against bigger sides at the moment who have more intensity and a bit more aggression around the footy than us, and it's showing at the moment.
Okay, and just moving on to the club now, are there any sponsors you'd like to mention, major sponsors at the club who help keep it running?
Yeah, there is, but I don't know them all. But all the sponsors at Glenunga are doing a fantastic job. So keep it up. Listen, we're really lucky at Glenunga. I think there are many sponsors, and I don't know enough of them at this point because we're still bringing those sponsors in. But I know from a junior point of view and a senior point of view, we're working really hard to get sponsors into the football club and certainly the area. I think Glenunga Footy Club needs not just sponsors, but it needs people coming around and families coming around enjoying and supporting the club, because I think that's one thing that we probably lack, that real club atmosphere at the moment. So it's getting the sponsors in, it's getting the people back into the footy club and making sure that we do build a club on and off the field.
Okay, thank you, Brian. I'm Todd Lewis from Fiasco Sports, reporting for the SA Football Magazine. I've been joined by Brian Leys from the Glenunga Football Club in Division 5, and he's our feature coach of the week.